We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of. We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of. Yeah, this is Everton Blender, and it's all about the young police from Jamaica. Seeing Young Police Channel. Big up yourself, Everton Blender said that. We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of. Blessed love, Rastafari.
Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police Channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. Yeah, so as we continue the journey, this is part 2 of the two-part series. So why extortionists must live in fear. Justice demand consequences. So extortionists prey on the vulnerable, exploiting fear and weakness for their own gain. They thrive on the misery of others, using threats and intimidation to enrich themselves at the expense of law-abiding citizens. So we want to take that way away from them. Turn the tables, make them live, let them live in a fear of losing their lives, not the hard-working and law-abiding citizen. Jamaica is a criminal's paradise, and that's the reason why the criminals behave in this fashion. Yes. So, but the time has come for them to experience the same fear they impose on their victims. Extortionists must live in constant dread of losing their own lives because justice demands consequences that are as severe as the crimes committed. When someone chooses the path of extortion, they willingly cross a line that society cannot and should not tolerate. They become predators, feeding off the fear and desperation of their victims. But in a society, predators must face the very real possibility that their actions will come back to haunt them. Extortionists should understand that their life of crime could cost them everything, including their own lives. The message is clear. If you are an extortionist, expect to face the same ruthless treatment you dish out. Just as to show no mercy to your victim, do not expect mercy in return. Because we do not serve sympathy coffee, sympathy tea, lunch, breakfast, dinner or supper. And we don't believe in empathy or compassion or leniency for extortionists. The tables must turn, and those who will live by exploiting others will find themselves at the receiving end of the fear and violence they once wielded. We must create a society where extortionists know that the consequences of their actions are swift and severe. This is not about revenge. It's about justice. It's about ensuring that those who terrorize the innocent live in constant fear of the ultimate consequence, losing their own lives. Only then we will see and send a powerful message that crime does not pay, and the justice is not just a concept but a living, breathing force that will not be denied. So we'll continue with the part 2. So moving on, as you know that we believe in time come for our case of justified homicide and case of extortions. Yes. So you watch, you listen, and you listen. The right to protect themselves. If the victim can produce evidence such as recordings of threats, they should be legally entitled to defend themselves. even if it's mean using lethal force. So yeah, so what we're suggesting now, you have to fight fire with fire, you know. So a criminal, them know them rights, you know. I tell you that, you know, because you have, when man go to jail, you have people inside that will try them case before them go to court, and will tell them, say, boy, better you plead guilty or you can't fight it. So the reason why I don't come up with this now, these measures now, once a criminal them know that this is there, you know, they might try to find some way to go around it, but guess what? Them still are going to lose because somebody have to come collect the money. Or, you understand? So when they make the threat over a phone and them this and them that, they have to send somebody come to collect it. And look, you have to make them know that, no, you can't send nobody, you have to come collect it. Because I have to know, oh, now tell me say you send nobody and them thing. You understand? Yes, so that's when them come, you send them my departure now. Because when laws pass, you know, when laws are enacted and signed into law, the media will report it to the people them. Some, you understand? And, you know, let the criminal them know, say, hey, this is on the books now, so this is go against, you know. So they have to think of them other ways now. Yeah, so them now, the only thing what them can do now is rob the business place and them go straight at departure now and see me. So this is now, so two, it disrupting criminal economies. Extortion is a significant revenue stream for organized crime. By allowing victims to fight back, we dismantle the financial backbone of these criminal enterprises. The risk of lethal retaliation will deter criminals from extortion, reducing its prevalence. So, 3, restoring public confidence. When the legal system unequivocally supports victims, it restores faith in the justice and public order. People must see that the law is on their side, reinforcing that crime does not pay and criminals will face severe consequences. Based on how the law is structured in Jamaica, most Jamaicans know that the law favors the criminals. So that's why the criminals winning at all times. The days where criminals were on the losing end, that was in the 80s. And in the early part of the 90s and to the middle 90s, we try, but you have other corrupt police officers who help aid and abet the criminals then because they were a part of the criminal organization, benefiting financially millions every month. So this is a deterrent to crime. We create a powerful deterrent by making extortion a dangerous and potential fatal endeavor. Criminals will think twice before engaging in extortion if they know their actions could lead to their demise. This shift in power dynamics forces criminals to reconsider their methods and ultimately reduce the incidence of extortion. So we have zero tolerance for criminals. We must adopt a zero tolerance policy towards those who exploit and terrorize others. This means showing no sympathy, compassion, or leniency towards extortionists who show none towards their victims. That's why we don't serve sympathy coffee, sympathy tea, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or supper over here. We give them the real bitters straight to the departure lounge. Yes, make a man sile up himself, or we can say DD up himself before him go, because him see it coming. So him bowels just get weak, him realize now say him dead. But by the time him realize him done dead. You understand? So our legal system must reflect the harsh reality that extortionists impose on their victims and respond with equally severe measures. So we know say when a guy threaten a business owner and I say, oh, we are killing and this and that. Well, now we are turning the table on them now. If you know say, you would have them, the business owner don't have to wait now for you to defend them life from you because you attack them. No, them can defend themselves from you by sending you to departure lounge right there, then and there, because you are committed a serious crime, because threat of killing the victim because of extortion. So we make extortion now a self-defense crime. Yeah, man. Legal, it's legal, justify homicide. So it's time to evolve our legal response to his extortion by classifying the use of deadly force against extortionists as justifiable homicides. We protect victims dismantle criminal economies, and deter future crimes. So once criminals know this, they might think different. This bold step is about safeguarding individual lives and restoring justice and order in our society. We must act decisively with zero tolerance for those who undermine the principle of hard work and success. So this is it now, because the government, the people in Jamaica don't feel safe, and that as if them government are defend them or protect them life. Then you see, when we know that the PNP criminal organization is against it, so you're going to put them out there publicly, and we at the Jamaica Young Police Center, we continue to shame them, just like how we defend the 50 year to life with murder by exposing them and point them out, say they are the one who enabling criminals in Jamaica. So we must act decisively with zero tolerance. Zero tolerance, no sympathy, no compassion, no empathy, no leniency. It's time to send a clear message. Crime will no longer be tolerated, and those who engage will face the ultimate consequence. When you're a government, you have to be tough. You can't have sympathy for criminal. Criminal not supposed to get sympathy. Any politician have sympathy for criminal is a criminal-minded person. That person is supposed to be in a government. You can't be in a government and sympathy to criminal. That means you're a criminal yourself. That's why we tell you, say PNP is a criminal organization. Just remember, Big Belly Mark, that's a baby chump. Big Belly Mark, baby chump. Baby chump was telling the Jamaican people that it's 8 to 12 years people forget for murder and forget second chance at life. What happened to the person who will lose their life? Their life don't matter? Yeah, man. So they must say black life, because baby chump, him white, black life no matter to him. Because I'm a British, him not a Jamaican. None of him pitting them that get raped and killed as yet. That until them start feel and know it feel for lose a loved one and see them their loved one in the departure lounge, and then them time and them feel it. Sometimes a man have to experience what others feeling for them can understand what is happening. So hey everyone, have you ever wondered how you would react if faced with a life-threatening situation? Some people don't know. Imagine being a victim of a violent crime, feeling helpless and defenseless. Today, I have got a shocking statistic on violent crime rates that might make you rethink your approach to self-defense. So welcome back. Yeah, man. Today we are diving into the groundbreaking new law that allows victims to take extreme measures to protect themselves. Yes, you heard that right. In certain situations, victims are now legally allowed to use lethal force against criminals without the criminal having any weapon and physically threatening their life, but by using the words of extorting them, and if you don't pay up, you're going to be killed. That is just common sense law. So let's unpack this controversial new development. So I represent to you problem and challenge. Traditionally, self-defense laws have often been criticized for their limitations in safeguarding victims. Many argue that existing laws fail to empower individuals to protect themselves adequately. There's a growing need for a robust approach to ensure the safety and well-being of those under threat. Violent crime rates continue to rise, leaving many people feeling vulnerable and exposed. How do we address these urgent issues effectively? With the introduction of this new law, the landscape of self-defense has shifted dramatically. So we are changing it now. We are make the people the landscape change. The landscape of the new self-defense has shifted just dramatically. Victims now have the legal backing to protect themselves with lethal force, if necessary. This change is intended to provide a sense of empowerment and safety to those under threat. However, this new level of authority also raises several concerns. Will this law lead to a surge in violent confrontations? Could it result in unintended consequences such as innocent people being armed? No. Because we have to make sure the people who the extortionists are the ones that are sent to the departure lounge. Spanish Town is the headquarters of extortionists, started by the PNP criminal organization under the leadership of the black man. Yeah man, them say Fresh Prince, and a Fresh Prince, Dirty Prince, that criminal prince, black prince. Yeah man, them say anything, you know man, them used to say anything black no good. You think white people easy, and that them the way, you know. You understand? And PJ Patty say come and prove white people right. And how will this new dynamic impact our communities? We need to explore these critical questions as we adjust to this new reality. So let's take a moment to reflect on a real life case where the new law was put to test. In a recent incident, a victim defended themselves against an armed assailant, ultimately saving their own life. The ripple effect of this event on the community was profound, highlighting both the potential benefits and danger of such legislation. This incident exemplifies the law's significance and its powerful impact on personal safety and community dynamics. So to sum it up, the new law marks a significant shift in the realm of self-defense. It empowers victims to protect themselves in ways previously unimaginable and unimaginable. Forces unmanageable. However, as we navigate these uncharted waters, it's crucial to understand the broader implications for society. This law is a double-edged sword. Yes, offering protection while posing new risk. So I want to hear from you now that you are informed about this new law. What are your thoughts on victims being allowed to use lethal force in self-defense? Do you think this is a step in the right direction, or does it open the door to more violence? Share your opinions in the comments below. As we say, a reminder again, if you haven't, this is the first time to the Jamaica Young Police channel, yeah man, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell and select all. That's anytime we release a video at the Jamaica Young Police channel, you'll be the first to receive the notification and able to access the video. Hit the like button or thumbs up button. By doing that, you know that you show that you appreciate the video that we're producing and the contents. You know that the contents are superior because over here it's not an entertainment channel. So remember to subscribe for more updates and local developments and join the conversation. So learn about the controversial proposal to make extortion a form of self-defense for victims, allowing them to take lethal action against criminals. So this video explores the arguments for and against this idea, highlighting the potential dangers of promoting vigilantism and bypassing the justice system. Discover why focusing on strengthening law enforcement, protecting victims, and addressing the root causes of extortion may be more effective in combating these criminal activities. So watch now to delve deeper into this complex issue and consider the implication of such drastic measures. So first we are going to address the woke-activist thing now. To the woke-activists, the statement that it is time to make extortion self-defense for victims by sending extortionists to the departure lounge is dangerous and a harmful idea. So here the extortionist now, and here's why. It promotes vigilantism. It's encouraged individuals to take the law into their own hands, leading to chaos and potential escalation in violence. And we can tell you, Mr. and Mrs. Wokeactivists, that is what deterrence look like, making the criminal live in fear, because the victims will be providing the police with the threats to their lives via recording. Crime will reduce over time. Once the people, the victims, can provide the recordings. Yes, if you don't pay me any money, I'm going to kill you. That alone make them can't kill them. So we have to turn the table on them. We have to think over fight crime. 100 years ago, laws cannot be used in 2024. So we have to come up with new ideas. Drive fear in the heart of criminal. You see, when a guy hear this, all of them guys that were, I'll termite the dog by car. Him never work in his life yet. So that way I tell you, we take away all of the financial aspect of them of their criminality. So here the work TV say, it's undermined the justice system. It bypasses legal system designed to provide fair trials and appropriate punishments. Jamaica justice system is divine for criminals, and that them I tell you, So, which is why our criminals can stay behind bars and cause harm to others on the other side of the walls of prison. No, we know that. We know we are turning the table on the criminals them. And we're going to tell you all even about all the prison system and them thing there. Because this government is too nice to criminals. When a man go to prison, a man supposed to feel like him still in the street. Because him not supposed to be comfortable. Him supposed to watch him head back on them thing there. Him not supposed to go to prison and feel comfortable. You understand? So here they walk to this and it disregards human rights. It denies extortionists their fundamental rights to life and due process. So these people, all them are defend criminals. They're not defending the law-abiding citizens. So they want to create a criminal society. That's why Jamaica is a criminal paradise, because of these people. So a time now for we turn the table on these people. Put out them address, them home address. Put out them home address, make the criminal them know, and the valuables where them have there. And make the criminal know so them can take anything when they want from them. So that's what you have to do them, Because we have to fight back, because we are the victims. We are the ones who cries when a loved one kills. Them kill with loved ones. We experience it and we know what it is like. So it's time for us to turn the table on them. Make them know, say, we're not united with them no more. Our time now. We have to restore that confidence in our people, like what Edward Seaga did in the 1980s. So those who do not contribute positive to the economy, community and country's development and rely on their craft of criminality will not be afforded the same protection as our law-abiding citizens. You are a criminal, you are going to get criminal treatment. Simple as that. I just saw you go. You are a criminal, you are going to get criminal treatment. And we don't care when a guy wants to say. That's what we say and that's what we mean. So, here the work activism. That it does not solve the problem. It fails to address the root causes of extortion. So we are telling them, so doing the same will reduce crime. People, extortionists, them don't want to work. Them are parasites. So that's why we send them to the departure loan. If you have cockroaches, you have to use bacon to get rid of them. So that's why I use that. Because they have been getting away. They have the upper hand, the law working in their favor. And the law must work in favor of the law-abiding citizens, not the criminals. So we are turning the table on them. So we are saying doing the same will reduce crime. Because the so-called dons will have to rethink about extorting our business leaders and citizens. Because they know that if they even use cell phone to make their threats and send any emissary, they will get the same treatment, no special treatment. So look here, it's simple. A guy can arm me and say, you say no, you can't send nobody, And you are the extortionist. You come yourself, you understand. And when you come, I have to meet you. When you come, you call me, let me know, say you're here and tell me what you're dressing and I tell you if you come in. Because when you come in, I kill it. I saw it, I go straight to the departure lounge. So a guy, I come collect money and him collect him ticket and go straight to the departure lounge. Because we know say a PMP criminal organization, supporters and activists, they are the one that behind the extortion in Jamaica. It started by the clansman. Because the PMP don't know if you create job, All they know if you create criminals. We are telling that parasites. So instead, the focus should be on, so they might say, strengthening law enforcement, invest in the resources and training and tackle extortion effectively. This will create a safer environment for law-abiding citizens and make it a bad day for killers and dons and murderers. So the reason why we say for this law, it will make criminals have bad days, and the killers and the dons and the extortionists them. Criminals must always have bad days. No guy not supposed to feel comfortable and I think, if he forget a certain amount of money every day or every week. No, you're not get none. We're not supposed to have a system where we reward people when they work. A socialism and terrorism. So we have to turn the table on these people. You see, the one who can't do it and one who want to do it. We know say we have the 63 people them in the parliament, very sympathetic to criminals. So Nigel Clark gone now, one of my best and brightest mind. You understand? Why you think him gone? Because I realize say, oh, the government a joke, because the Prime Minister don't want to bomb criminal neck. So we'll see what go happen on them thing if them are going to implement this law. So protecting victims, provide support and assistance to those affected by extortion. The government cannot protect every citizen. So we have to have laws to protect our law-abiding citizens by arming every law-abiding business owner and citizen alike. We're not talking about people in a criminal, you know. And we need to stop expunge people criminal. When you expunge criminal records, it's supposed to be people who like commit assault will be not even wounding, because that's a serious thing. Because wounding, I went to you, remember say somebody skin that you have caused that to that scar. So this assault will be you're supposed to expunge, nothing else. Now wounding, now shooting, murder. All murderer get clean and drugs dealer. So it's a criminal society we have in Jamaica, criminal's paradise. And look, that couldn't happen in Edward Seaga. That's why we are telling you, man. We don't see not even the dirt. We're not even see dirt at Edward Seaga in Jamaica right now. And we not stop talk. We're not seeing the leaders of Jamaica, misleaders and criminals, criminal-minded people there. We not could have been on the bus car, just saw it go, we are telling them. So once criminals know the chance of getting resistance, they will think differently. Criminals are people who are lazy and want to live considerably wealth off and suffering, wealth off the suffering of law-abiding citizens. The time to take back our country is now. If not now, then when? When all the smart people left, we return to the days of Port Royal, the wickedest place on earth. We can't do that. We have to act now. So addressing the root causes, implementing policies that we can stop breeding criminals in Jamaica. Sir Porter was born and raised poor. How did he not venture into a life of crime, even when he was in the police force? Not even when I was a police officer, I ventured off in a criminality. I could have, but I wasn't raised that. I was raised with moral ethics and decency. And I have people who look up to me. So I have to continue that mantle. The Porter family, royal family. Yeah, people them believe in hard work. And these were people, yeah, my father's side of family. Yeah, but I tell you, people them conservative. You understand? Some people in my mother family are conservative and some of them are corrosion. I tell you that, they're corrupt bunkers. So sir, you know that yours truly, yeah man, a decent, honest, law-abiding, ethical and conscientious man with truthfulness and respect for other people's property, even criminals. So I understand your concern about victims of extortion, and I want to be clear that I am not minimizing the harm they experience. However, the proposal, you have made is concerning for several reasons. So, the man say, boy, it promotes vigilantism, allowing individuals to take the law into their own hands is dangerous and can lead to further violence. And we are telling you, that is not the case. This is to empower the citizen, the law-abiding citizen. People supposed to have business and operate without worrying about being extorted. Period. We have enough of it. Almost 30 years. Time for it to stop. The CMA or Meverell Smith eradicates kidnapping in Jamaica by every kidnapper when they go up on the scene. Straight to the departure lounge. Yes, no time, no negotiation with terrorists. You understand? So it undermines the justice system. The legal system is designed to provide due process and ensure fair outcomes. Bypassing the system can lead to injustice. That's not true. And we can't depend on the system either, because the system in Jamaica is designed for the criminals. So that's why we know that. So as we tell you, we believe in creating long-term solution to the problem of extortion, and this is the way. Yes. There's no root extortion. It have nothing to do with poverty and inequality and other factors. It has to do with laziness, licky, jealous, bad mind and covetous. They want to live big, but they don't want to work. You understand? When they go to school, them sit down like back high class, all them think about say they want to be bad man, I'm afraid of them. That's why we send them my departure along. So at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, promise made, promise kept. A commitment to justice and safety. When we promise to take back our communities, protect our citizens, and restore law and order, we knew it was more than just words. A commitment to honest, tangible actions. So today we stand proud to say, promise made, promise kept. So we vow to empower law-abiding citizens, ensuring they have the means to defend themselves against those who seek to harm and exploit them. We pledge to create laws that punish crime and punish criminals and deter them by giving citizens the tool to protect their lives and livelihood. Criminals once believed that they could act with impunity, preying on the weak and the unprotected, but no longer. Through our steadfast determination and action, we have made it clear those who seek to threaten, extort or terrorize will be met with resistance. They will face a society that is no longer willing to be victimized. We promise to make our streets, businesses and homes safer, and we have delivered. The laws we champion are not just words on paper. They are the shield and sword in the hands of every law-abiding citizen. Criminals must now think twice, knowing the odds are no longer in their favor. So that's why we want this law. This is not about fulfilling a promise. It's about honoring our duty to protect the values and people we hold dear. We said we would fight for a safer, more just society, and we have done precisely that. A promise made, a promise kept. We will continue to keep it, ensuring that our communities remain strong, safe and free from the grips of those who seek to harm. So this is not just about fulfilling a promise, it's about honoring our duty to protect the values and the people we hold dear. We said we would fight for a safer, more just society, and this is what we are suggesting, precisely that. A promise made, promise kept. Because in the end, when you push law-abiding citizens to the brink, they won't just go back. They will take back everything rightfully theirs. So it's either the government want to do it or them not want to do it. This is the only way that we can take back our country. So have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.